What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the best raid Pokemon for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. These Pokemon are able to do 5-star and 6-star raids, maybe not solo them, but at least perform very well in a co-op situation with randoms. And of course, guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like the video. I really appreciate it. So before we begin into the actual Pokemon, it is important to know that your Pokemon should be level 100. You should have your IVs max. You don't know what IVs are. IVs are individual values that will increase your Pokemon's base stats overall, but you can only increase them with bottle caps. And you can go to the ghost type gym, and at the Pokemon Center right here, right across from it, you can talk to this man and he will increase your IVs through hyper training. So definitely do that. Also, you want to have your EVs maxed out. Definitely check out my EV guide on how to max out your EVs, but if you need to do it quickly, go to any Chansey supply store in the game. You can buy EV items like boosting your attack, boosting your special attack. You can also buy ability capsules, you happen to need those, and you can buy nature mints as well to change your Pokemon's nature, which is a 10% boost to a certain stat and a minus 10% boost to another stat, which is very important to get maximum damage output. Now let's start off with maybe the best raid Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and that is Iron Hands. So Iron Hands is an absolute beast of a Pokemon stat wise, has base 154 HP and 140 attack, and this thing is an electric and fighting, which is incredible dual stab. It covers a lot of different types, and you're gonna find yourself using this Pokemon in a lot of different situations. It has the item Life Orb in this case because it will boost the damage of your attacks, all your attacks. However, you will take some damage as well, but that's okay because we're not trying to live for a long time. We're just trying to destroy as quickly as possible. So pretty much for all these Pokemon, we're going to be having our HP stat maxed out and then their attacking stat, unless it's a support Pokemon. So we have our HP maxed out here and our attack maxed out. We are adamant nature, so plus attack minus special attack. And of course, our ability Quark Drive is pretty solid. You know, we get an attack boost if electric terrain is up on the field. So that's pretty solid. The big thing about Iron Hands is the move Belly Drum, and only 2 Pokemon in the game get Belly Drum, and you know, honestly, both these Pokemon are probably the 2 best raid Pokemon in the game, so who would have thought? Belly Drum cuts our attack in half, gives us +6 attack, maxes our attacking stat, and then we have 2 fantastic stab moves to use on the second turn. Close Combat and Wild Charge. Close Combat can be a 120 base attack. That's going to do a crap ton of damage. And Wild Charge is not doing as much at 90. However, still going to do a lot of damage. Still a stab move. And Ice Punch is here for a coverage move because even at +6 and Ice Punch hitting something super effectively, it's going to be massive. You can switch out Ice Punch for Play Rough, but at the end of the day, I think Ice Punch covers more. So I'm going to stick it to on Ice Punch here. Iron Hands has the ability to easily one-shot 5-star raids by itself and even some 6-star raids. If you are going to be playing online though with Iron Hands, or you're going to be playing with people who use Iron Hands, this Pokemon really loves Screech support. So if you have 1 Screech on the defending Pokemon and you're +6, that is an 8-stage stat difference, and that's usually going to be enough to kill. So keep that in mind. Iron Hands, though, seriously may be the best Pokemon for TERA rating right now. Next up is the other Belly Drum user in the game, Azumarill, and Azumarill is pretty much just as good as Iron Hands at the end of the day, but luckily it covers different typings, so you want to interchange Iron Hands and Azumarill based on the Pokemon you're facing. So Azumarill is a Water Fairy type, which is phenomenal typing overall, and we're going to give it the item Ability Shield. This allows Azumarill to protect his ability, because the reason why Azumarill is so good is because it has the ability Huge Power, which doubles the Pokemon's attack stat. Normally that's pretty low, but look at 218 times 2, we're looking at like 450, and that is a massive attack stat. Look at the attack stat of Iron Hands here at 416. This is actually going to be more damage than Iron Hands, so Azumarill is a threat. Of course, same sort of thing. We want to do Belly Drum on turn 1, and then we're either wanting to use Liquidation or Play Rough based on the situation. You could use Superpower. It's just sort of a move to put on here. But if you want to tech out Superpower, you could put up Rain Dance if you wanted to do the attack on the 3rd turn to boost up your water damage. Or if you wanted to boost up your fairy damage, you could put on Misty Terrain in that slot too. So you got a couple of options with Azumarill. But this Pokemon is very OP. But just remember, you want to have Ability Shield because once again, if you lose that Huge Power ability, you're done. This Pokemon is useless. Next up is Miraidon, which is probably the best special attacker in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet right now. And we're going to give it a Life Orb because we want to boost that damage even further. Our ability is going to put up electric terrain, which is going to further boost the damage of our electric attacks. Also, activate the Quark Drive of fellow Paradox Pokemon who have that ability. So that's going to be really good too. And we're going to go max special attack, max HP. Unfortunately here, I went max speed because I was doing this for competitive play. But don't follow me. Special attack, HP, and we're going to be going modest nature, of course. And you want to have metal sound. That's very important, actually. Metal sound will lower the opponent's special defense by 2. So you actually want to start off with a metal sound to get them low. And if you're with a bunch of other people, metal sound, that'll be -6 on turn 1. And then turn 2, you can either go for the kill with Electro Drift, which is a phenomenal 100 damage special electric type move. And if it's super effective, it even does more damage on top of it, which is pretty insane. Or you can do charge, which will further boost the damage of your next electric type move, also increases your SPDF. So you have options there. And we have Dragon Pulse for coverage because at the end of the day, we are a dragon special attacker, and Dragon Pulse is going to be the best special move that we can put. Unfortunately, we don't have Nasty Plot, but we're still an absolute beast with Miraidon. And next up is Koraidon, who is unfortunately not the best physical attacker in the game because we do have 2 Belly Drum users, but I would say is a firm 3rd place. And we're gonna give him Life Orb because Life Orb, of course, gonna boost that damage. We don't really care about our own HP. So Koraidon actually has a phenomenal move set at the end of the day. We're going to have Swords Dance, Screech, Collision Course, and Flare Blitz. Swords Dance going to boost our attack by 2, which is a very good move on turn 1. Or you can use Screech on turn 1 and then use the opposite move on turn 2. And then on turn 3, you either want to hit him with Collision Course or Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz can be switched out for like an Outrage or a Dragon Claw if you so choose. But I like Flare Blitz here just because of our ability is Orichalcum Pulse, which sets the sun out. So we will get a sun boosted Flare Blitz. Even though it's not stab, it is sun boosted. So that's actually pretty important. Plus, our ability also increases all the Pokemon Scarlet Paradox Pokemon, their stats. So that's going to be pretty solid. Once again, max attack, max HP. Mine is not. Mine's at the max attack, max speed. Don't be like me. Go max attack, max HP on this guy because you want to survive as much as possible. Because if you use a Flare Blitz, you'll probably kill yourself with max attack, max speed. But max attack, max HP, you'll probably actually live. So that's going to be a good thing. To note, you will probably die from using Flare Blitz, but if you want to go with a more survivable route, and same with Iron Hands, you could replace like Ice Punch on Iron Hands for Drain Punch and Flare Blitz for Drain Punch on Koraidon as well, if you just want to be as sustainable as possible. But my goal here is to try to win these as quickly as possible, if not a one-shot, but at least in a couple of turns. Next up is Iron Moth, another Pokemon Violet exclusive. But Violet really got the good raid mons here. And Iron Moth is really special because it's a fire poison type, which is going to be phenomenal stab typing. It's going to let us shred those fairy types, which are some of the harder 6-star raids in my opinion. And we're going to put a Lumberry on it just because we don't want to get status and stop our come up on our setting up, especially like Paralyzed. Confusion is going to be really annoying for us. So we want to avoid that by using a Lumberry. So we have Quark Drive, which is going to boost one of our stats when we are in electric terrain. In this case, it's going to be special attack. We have gone max HP, max special attack, modest nature. And our moveset's actually pretty interesting. Fiery Dance will always boost our special attack stats at 80 damage attack. So we're going to be setting up with that move. Acid Spray instead of Metal Sound. Sure, it's not going to work against steel types. However, Acid Spray is really good because it's a 40 damage poison move that lowers our special defense by 2 stages. So it is a better Metal Sound, but you gotta watch out. If you are facing a Steelmon, then this is not gonna work out, but you're honestly just better off probably just Firing Dancing. Then Overheat and Sludge Wave are gonna be our 2 main damaging moves. Overheat's gonna be our fire attack finishing move. It's gonna do a crap ton of damage, and Sludge Wave is gonna be our main poison wave damage as well. So after maybe 1 or 2 Firing Dances or 1 or 2 Acid Sprays, we're gonna go in and attack with Overheat Sludge Wave. There's a lot of other good moves you can put on. You put like Energy Ball as an example, or Bug Buzz. So you can actually mess around with this build a bit for what you need to cover. But personally, I really just like going full poison and full fire. Next up is Golden Go, who is a phenomenal special attacker in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. A little bit annoying to get. You got to get all the Gimme Ghoul coins, but if you want to know how to do that, definitely check out my guide for that. And this Pokemon, once again, we're going to use Life Orb. We want to do as much damage as possible. Don't really care about our life too much. And we're going to go max special attack with modest nature, max HP, max special attack, of course, with good as gold as the ability, which is the only ability. This ability is phenomenal, though. This allows you to not get hit by status conditions, so no paralyzed as an example, and you can't get your stats dropped either. So we're going to be keeping our stat buffs for the most part. And we're going to be using Nasty Plot to increase their special attack by 2, Metal Sound to drop their special defense by 2, and then Shadow Ball is going to be our best special ghost move that we can use, which is great. And then you have some options for the Steel move. I like Steel Beam because it does the most damage, but it will sacrifice 50% of our life. But I really like that Tactical Nuke. But you can use its signature move. I think it's like Make It Rain, which is a 120 special attack for Steel, but it lowers your special attack stat by 2. So that's up to you. Personally, I just want to Steel Beam. I'm going to bring this guy out. It's going to be in a super effective situation where I know I can win with Steel Beam, or if it's a Ghost Raid, then I can just boost up with Shadow Ball and win. Next up is Berserker, the #1 raid cat, and honestly, I think this is the best Pokemon if you are going to be in a 4-player co-op situation, as you can very easily one-shot a lot of Pokemon. I made a whole video on that, so definitely check that out if you want more information on that strat. But we're going to be using a Lumberry on Berserker because we do not want to get burned. But you can also put a Life Orb on it as well to do massive damage. It really just depends on your situation. So you want to go max HP, max attack, of course. I'm running my max attack, max speed for that co-op situation, but it's very important to have the hidden ability no matter what build you're using, Steely Spirit, as it powers up the steel type moves of all of the Pokemon and its allies, so it's going to be boosting our Iron Head damage. Now, the moves that are very important to have on this Pokemon is going to be Swords Dance, Screech, and Iron Head. We want to boost their attack, lower their defense, and hit them with a Stab Iron Head. Now, this last move really depends. If you're doing the 4-player strat, it's either going to be Taunt or Helping Hand based on your position. If you're doing a solo strat, you want to make this move actually close combat, and of course, you want to be an Adamant Nature to boost that attack stat. This Pokemon's actually really tanky and really solid overall, and the boosted Iron Head, especially with 3 other Berserkers, is going to do insane damage. I really do think it's generally the best combo in the game. And the last raid Pokemon I highly recommend building is Umbreon, as Umbreon is the best support Pokemon in the game, and this Pokemon's going to actually let you go through any raid battle for tier 5 and tier 6 raids so easily just because of the utility it has. So we're going to give it Mental Herb. Essentially, it won't be able to be binded, it won't be taunted, so we can actually provide good support. And this one's a little bit different. We're going to go max HP and max defense with a plus defense in nature. And our ability is going to be synchronized. So we do happen to get status. It's going to reflect onto the opponent who did status us. So that's actually pretty good. Now, this Pokemon's really unique as it's the only Pokemon that learns both Screech and Fake Tears. So this Pokemon can fit on a support on any team comp, which is really awesome. Foul Play is going to be our damaging move, which means we're going to be using the opponent's attack stat against them, which actually makes us the #1 support in doing damage, as we're going to use someone else's attack stat to deal damage instead of our own. So Umbreon, #1 damaging support, can fit on the most teams because of both debuffs and Skill Swap. Why is Skill Swap on here? Well, Skill Swap allows you to switch Synchronize with your opponent's ability. There's a couple of Pokemon in the game that you can fight, like Corviknight, who has Mirror Armor. Mirror Armor would reflect the debuffs. So if turn 1 you use Skill Swap, you take Mirror Armor, now the rest of the team can actually debuff the Corviknight and win. So it's a great tech skill. Highly recommend putting it. If you don't want Skill Swap, you could put on Helping Hand for a more offensive set, but I really think Skill Swap is truly the best, as there's a couple Pokemon that have like Defiant or Competitive who will get attack boost from you debuffing them. So keep that in mind. It'll allow you to beat some of those harder raids. Well, guys, there you have it. That is the best raid mons for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at the moment. I'm sure this is going to change in a DLC when Ursaluna comes, so be on the watch out for that Pokemon. But of course, keep it tuned to PanFro Games for more Pokemon guides and other content. And leave a like if you liked it. Please subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a great one.